My name is Tiffany Q, and welcome to my ABRSM Grade 5 Theory Lessons series, where I record snippets of my live lessons with my students. Please note that this is not a substitute for a textbook. If you're preparing for the theory exam, I would still recommend having a teacher to guide you through both the coursework and exam paper preparation. This is the Grade 5 Sample Paper A from 2021 chords question. The first question in chords will be a melody question, and this is the only question where they will not state the key signature or the key that we're in. So we need to find out the key first. We see one flat, that's B flat. It can have two possibilities, either F major or D minor. So we can check all the notes to see if we can find an accidental or the raised seventh of D minor. The raised seventh of D minor is actually a C sharp, so we don't see that anywhere here. It starts and ends on F, some chordal shapes and scalic shapes in F major, so we think it's an F major. I've already drawn out my chord plan here. Always do this for every question, it will really help. You have chord number 1, 2, 4, and 5. Then what we're going to do is study each of these bracketed bars and see which chord would fit the best. Sometimes we will have more than one option, or sometimes a few different chords will share the same note. So you have to really be careful and make a good judgment here. So we have B flat, D, and then we have E, F, and then we have a D as well. So I can spot immediately that these notes, that D is actually the same one as that one, but I'll circle it anyway. All of these notes belong to chord number 4, B flat, D, and F. So that is an obvious contester there. Then we have E, D, and C. So for E, we have chord number 5. For D, we have chords 2 and 4. C, we have chord number 1, but chord number 5 has both E and C in it. After you finish every single line, make sure that you check that the last two of the 4-bar phrase ending here, is a cadence, because they say 2 cadences in the question. So 4 to 5 indeed is an imperfect cadence, so that matches. Next one here, G, B, G again, and D. So luckily for us, all those notes belong to chord number 2. It's nice and easy for us. And then this one here, we have B flat, D, E, and F. Those belong to chord 4. And then last one, F, A, C, F. It's clearly chord number 1. So I keep glancing up at my chord plan to double check that. And then, again, making sure that this is a cadence. 4 to 1 is a plagal cadence. So that's fine, that's correct. Is that okay, Lee? Okay. That one's 5 out of 5. Like there's 5 marks for this. It's quite a bit. Okay. I'm going to continue now into the next questions. Question 5.2, cadences. For this question, you just need to know your cadences very well. So chords 5 to 1 is perfect, chords 4 going to 1, plagal, and then everything else, 1 to 5, 2 to 5, and 4 to 5 are all imperfect cadences. Thankfully, they do give you the key, G major here and D major. So you can quickly jot down a chord plan like I have done over here, 1 in G and 1 in D. For the brackets, you're going to identify all the chords here Now, this is a bit different from the melody question because all these chords will be very accurate. So you need to make sure that every single note matches the chord. So G, G, D, and B, that all fits chord number 1. And then we have D, F sharp, D, A, that's chord 5 in G major. So that's 1 to 5. And we know that 1 to 5, or anything to 5 really, is an imperfect cadence. So tick that. Next one here. So this one is written out in a slightly different way. So we have this minim here. That's also minim, but this one goes down an octave. So that would be our first chord, and then this is our second chord. So A, that's the same note, so it doesn't, really confuse us too much. C sharp, E, so that's a chord 5 in D major. So we check that there with our chords, chord 5. And then here D, F sharp, and D. Okay, so it doesn't include all the notes of chord number 1, but it's the one, I guess, that matches, because it at least has 2 notes. That is a chord number 1. So that would be a perfect cadence. The last one, 5.3. Tick one box to name each of the 3 marked chords. The key is A flat major. So let's take a look at our chord plan in A flat major first. I have chords 1, 2, 4, and 5, and all of these chords are in root position, so they are in their original or basic form. Inversions, which is what this question is, we need to check what the bass note of the chord is in the music, and that will tell us what letter it is. If the lowest note of a root chord is also the lowest note in the music, then it would be an A chord. If the lowest note of the music is our middle note of our root chord, then it's a B chord. And if the lowest note of the music is our highest note in the root chord, or the third note of the root chord, then it is a C chord. Okay, so first off, we're going to take a look at the marked chords. So A, this one here, chord number A, or letter A, I should say. Chord A has the notes C, A flat, E, and A flat. And all of those notes belong to chord number 1. So that's our first step. Our next step is to check this note down here. That note is a C. So let's check our chord 1. Moving all the way over here to the right hand side. C is the second note of our root chord, so that would be a 1B chord. So we can tick that. Next one here, first of all, check which chord it is. So D flat again, F, and B flat. Well, that looks like chord 2, B flat, D flat, F. So that matches, that's a chord 2. Then we check the lowest note here in the bass, which is that D flat. So D flat is also our second note of our root chord or basic chord in our chord plan, so that would be a chord 2B. And finally this chord here, E flat, C, E flat, and A flat, that belongs to chord number 1. Our lowest note is an E flat. Let's check our chord 1. Our E flat is the highest note, or the third note of our root chord. So that would be a 1C, because C is also the third letter of the alphabet. So that is the answer.